Good morning. All right, so we've been working on adding and subtracting rational numbers. Now we're going to start multiplying and dividing rational numbers. But before we get to that, we need to talk about something very important when multiplying fractions, and that is called cross-canceling. So when we multiply fractions, we want to be dealing with the smallest numbers possible. If you multiply the numbers that you're given, you almost always will have to reduce your answer. But if you cross cancel before you do your multiplying, you almost always will not have to reduce your answer. Sometimes, but not always. All right, so let's take a look and see what cross canceling means. So number 4, Number 4, what I'm doing is I'm looking diagonally at the 2 and the 7, and I'm asking myself, is there anything that I can divide 2 and 7 by to make those numbers smaller? Nope, because 2 is prime and 7 is prime, so there's nothing that I can divide by. Now I'm going to look at 1 and 3. Is there anything I can divide 1 and 3 by to make them smaller? So kind of like we do in our division ladders. No, there's nothing I can divide 1 and 3 by. If you cannot divide, then you're simply going to multiply straight across. So 1 times 2 is 2, and multiply denominators. 7 times 3 is 21. Number 5, look diagonally. Is there anything that you can divide 1 and 8 by? No. Look diagonally the other way. Is there anything that you can divide 2 and 5 by? No. If you cannot divide, you're simply going to multiply your numerators and multiply your denominators. Check to see if your answer is reduced, which it is. Answer 5/16. Number 6, look diagonally at 2 and 4. Is there anything that 2 and 4 can both be divided by? Yes, 2. So this is when we cross cancel. So I'm going to divide 2 by 2. I'm going to cross out the 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now I'm going to look at my 1 and my 5. Is there anything that we can divide 1 and 5 by? No. So now I'm going to multiply 1 times 1 and 2 times 5. So that answer would be 1/10. Can I divide 1 and 7? Nope. Can I divide 3 and 4? No. If I can't divide, I'm going to multiply my numerators. I'm going to multiply my denominators. I've got 7/28. Is 28 a multiple of 3? Let's see, 2 plus 8 is 10. Add those digits together. Is 10 a multiple of 3? No. So that is already in simplest form. Look at 3 and 4. Can't divide. Look at 2 and 7. Cannot divide. If you can't divide, you're going to multiply numerators and multiply denominators. Now, anytime you have the same number diagonal from itself, it's always going to reduce to a 1. Why? Because you're dividing that number by itself. So 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 7 divided by 7 is 1. Can you divide a 5 and an 8? No. So now I'm going to multiply 5 times 1 and 1 times 8. Look at your 3 and 9. Can you divide 3 and 9? Yes. We're going to divide by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Can we divide a 1 and an 8? No. Multiply 1 times 1. Multiply 8 times 3. Can you divide a 2 and a 6? Yes. Those are both even numbers. Divide by 2. divide by 2. Now, remember what I said the last time when we had our 7s? Anytime you have the same number diagonal from itself, it's always going to reduce to 1. Why? Because you're dividing by that number. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay, we're going to try 2 more that look a little bit different. So this time we have a fraction times a whole number. Anytime you have a fraction times a whole number, you're going to draw a fraction bar under that whole number and put a 1 underneath it. Now we're looking at the 5 and the 1. We cannot divide a 5 and a 1. Now I'm looking at 12 and 10. 12 and 10 can be divided by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So now I'm going to multiply my numerators. 5 times 5 is 25, and multiply 6 times 1. So notice this is an improper fraction, and that fraction bar means divided by. So what's 25 divided by 6? Nope. Remember that remainder becomes the numerator, so that's going to be 4 and 1/6. Last one. Put a fraction bar under the whole number and put a 1 underneath. Can 1 and 7 be divided? No. Can 6 and 8 be divided? Yes, by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 3 times 7 is 21. And 1 times 4 is 4. So that's an improper fraction. So we're going to have to divide 21 by 4. So that would be 5 and 1/4. All right, so you're going to try the rest of this page and 1 through 9 here. Make sure and ask if you need help.